Hello, I am Poryg and this is 10 PvP based defense tips and tricks video. I will not make anything about PvE because this is already an overkill. The mode 2 blocks fight prevents any zombies or creepers from coming through, and if it wasn't for the mode, then the magma blocks are a surefire deterrent against them. They will not try to get in and get themselves killed. Even if they did, there are dispensers and water, so any loot that gets down here is flushed into the hoppers, and from there it gets to inside a treasure chest. You are also protected since the entrance is inside a mountain from any attacks coming from up or sides or even back, so you won't get a sudden creeper ambush or something like that. In fact, you are even protected against spiders because the ceiling here is longer than the floor and they cannot walk like this on the ceiling. They can only hang here, so spiders are harmless, and even phantoms, as long as you fight them properly, will not do anything. Phantoms always try to get before the attack at your level, and then they go right into you. If you're standing inside, you will not get hurt because they need at least 2 blocks to cause damage or to get through. So they will bump either into you or the wall. By the way, if they bump into you, that is only half a hard damage as long as you have iron armor. But if you don't, it still should not be a lot. Anyway, after they bump, they go upwards, and here is the ceiling that gets them stuck, so you can kill them easily without any issues. As for skeletons, there is only a wall to protect you if you want to build it against their arrows, but I think that this is already relatively safe because they need to be very close to even see you. Nevertheless, defense against players is not so easy. After all, players are people, and people are smarter than the mobs. So you need, if you want to defend against their raids, to be sort of ready for them. Of course, there is no way to make a fully foolproof base that cannot be ever looted. However, there are some things you can do to decrease the chance you will get looted. And I would like to talk about that because I still see way too many bases that are just like here in plain sight, easy to enter, easy to loot, with dedicated treasure rooms where the loot is easy to find as well, and of course easy to get out of as well. So the first tip is of course to improve your location. And I will not tell you where you should plant your base because this all depends from server to server. For example, you could dig an underground base. However, a problem is that underground bases are susceptible to people's mining tunnels. So, if you build it too low, it might so happen that a digger will find it and will raid it. You can build bases up in the air too, but the problem with this is that unless there are teleportation commands, you will need a visible way to get inside your base, so people would see this visible way and they would be able to get in and loot it too. If you want to safeguard your base better, a possibility is to create an underwater base. This will, of course, enrage many players because people do not like it when you create your base either underwater or somewhere at the end of the map because this is a very difficult place to reach. But the good side is an unreachable base or invisible base is an unraidable base. What cannot be seen cannot be raided. So, an underwater base, you're going in, of course, underwater, and you're searching for a spot that is far enough from the land and that is deep enough for the entrance to be hidden. So you're searching either for a ravine or for for a cave or for some place where you can build or dig in easily. For example, here I found a ravine, so I can get here. There are also some resources here, and there are some drums here as well, so my base is not only well hidden, but also it has some degree of protection. I can dig in very easily. Of course, you may say that it is very easy and creative, and it indeed is, so I am going to show it on a real survival run. I'm not doing anything fancy, just at my respawn point. You do not want to break the bed, because that would delete the respawn point, so I am crafting another bed for my base, because since there are drowns underwater, I definitely don't want to be swimming back to the land too much. And I also crafted a boat, because a boat is very important. This boat and the pickaxe are the only tools you need, but I would definitely recommend you to bring some food, because you can take a lot of damage, not just from the drowns, but also from the lack of oxygen. Speaking of oxygen, I found a good spot, but I need to return to the shore because I realized that I am missing a good item to solve our oxygen issues. Now the footage is not edited except for sped up by 150% to make it a little bit faster. So you can now see me gather some wood because I did not have enough wood. And since it's not spruce but dark oak, I had to pick 2 blocks and I crafted some door. That is right, door is going to fix our oxygen issue. So now I return to the boat and continue to the spot. Now this spot was way too close to the shore, so it's not the best spot to choose in multiplayer because it still does not give you enough safety from players' underground tunnels. However, for demonstration it is good enough. So now I have a ravine underneath. Definitely did not expect to find it, and now I am just searching for a good spot. Ran out of oxygen, so I placed some doors, and the area inside the door is dry, so you can refill your oxygen there. What I'm searching for is some coal and some drowns around me, because drowns around me mean protection. And since I have found some coal and I have drowns around me, I am more than happy to choose this location. Except of course this is single player, and in multiplayer I would go farther from the shore to have less chance people would find my base. Now, if you don't want or can't for some reason, because for example there are no oceans, build your base underwater. If there are nether portals, you can still build it inside the nether. Now, bases in the nether are pretty much the safest, because there is not too much to search for in the nether. There are magma blocks, there are netherracks, there is soul sand, there is lava, and there is glowstone and nether quartz. But other than that, it is not recommended to undergo large-scale mining operations because there is no water in the nether, so that means the lava cannot be extinguished. Which also means that if you find some random spot of lava, you cannot extinguish it and have to deal with it using blocks. So if you want to dig inside a nether mountain like this, by the way, this is a very good spot because this covers the entrance from plain sight, and there is also the lava lake, which makes it kind of inaccessible. So if you want to dig your base in, you simply start digging like this. Let's pretend there is a path here. I would make it from either netherrack or soul sand to kind of cover that there is a base. From here I can dig down. Now please note that you should not, just like in the overworld, dig straight down because there are random spots of lava, so you don't want to get burned and die. So you always want to dig like this. But since I'm in the creative, I will just dig straight down just to keep it shorter. You can dig as far down as y equals 5 because y equals 5 is the last layer where there is no bedrock. You can see here is the bedrock. So from here I go here because in this direction there is the lava lake, and also remember that you should not dig like this because you could encounter a lava spot and get burned. You need some distance. So right now I think I'm already underneath the lava lake, and from here I can already start and build my base. Since I'm underneath the lava lake, it means players cannot dig in from up because there is lava, and there is also very little option for them to go from the side because no normal player would undergo large-scale mining operations, especially not down here. It has, of course, its disadvantages though. One of them is that since it is in the nether, the monsters that spawn, they spawn regardless of light level, so you don't want to have two large rooms, and if you do want to have two large rooms, you want to make sure mobs cannot spawn there. Or you can also create, as a deterrent, random rooms where they serve as mob spawners, so players that find the base and explore it kind of have their own fun. Another disadvantage is that since there is a lack of raw materials, you need to have a portal that is not too far, and that portal could kind of be a giveaway. But other than that, nether bases or bases in nether are the safest there are, and I cannot recommend anything better than that. Now before we go to the nether base where I have more stuff prepared, I'll cover two more tips. Tip number 2, use 1 block wide corridors. It's especially important in the nether because this prevents mob spawns, since most mobs require at least 2 block wide corridors. But it's important even in the overworld because not only it gives the player less space to maneuver, you can go forward, you can go backward, and you can try to dig, but if this is not netherrack but let's say some stone, it can take a while. And it is also kind of claustrophobic, so this might not be the nicest feeling you'll have when you're raiding the base. And it also gives you more space to maneuver in with your traps. So use 1 block wide corridors. Tip number 3 is obvious because it is the only passive defense you can do apart from the location, and that is using lava. You can use lava like this, but there is a problem with it. In particular, if you build on top of the source block, it will get destroyed. So don't use it like this. In fact, instead dig a column here and pour it here. Now if the player decides to build something here, nothing happens. Even if they build here, the lava is still alive. They need to get here, which is really dangerous unless they have potion of fire resistance. Tip number 4, buttons and pressure plates can be used to power up more than one thing. As you could see, this button not only powered the door, but even powered the trap that sent me to my doom. And the trap, if you're interested, is quite clumsy, to be honest. It's some redstone, repeaters, and when this get powered, this torch turns off, these pistons retract. It is clumsy because the redstone dust is up here. Normally I would place it back here to make sure that I can place some lava here and the redstone would be protected from it. Tip number 5, of course, create fake rooms. Even if I survive this, there's nothing here than an empty chest. And the point of fake rooms is to simply make the potential raider not feel like raiding it, because, for example, they could think it's not worth it to just continuously die and receive no loot for it. Now, tip number 6 is something you might have seen on Reddit, but I'll still post it here. Use stairs and a pressure plate of the same texture or the same material. As you can see, there is not too much visible here, maybe some slightly distorted texture from here, but from distance nothing is noticeable until you hear the clicking sound when it's too late. Now, this may or may not work depending on the material you're using. For example, some woods have a problem. Also on brightness settings. On full brightness it works like this, but on moody brightness it is kind of more obvious because the pressure plate has more shading. And of course, even on texture packs, some will work, some will not. Somewhere the changes are more obvious, somewhere they are not. Nevertheless, since the pressure plate presses like this, that means you don't have any time to wait. Here it was just a click, which is which is the doors. But the pressure plate, there are no doors to click, so you need to react immediately. For this reason, I have this little trap I have built. Nothing too fancy, but if I walk down the stairs, the sand falls down and suffocates me. Of course, it won't really suffocate me because I'm in creative mode, but normally it would work like this. It is, as I said, just a simple trap. There is the pressure plate powering up the redstone, and when the torch gets turned off, the pistons retract and the sand falls down. Tip number 7, use netherrack. In particular, use flaming netherrack. The reason for that is, on netherrack the fire does not age, so that means it doesn't matter how long the fire burns, as long as it doesn't rain, the fire won't get out. So if I have, let's say, an observer here, the fire hides it perfectly well and will always hide it, because as you can see, there is not too much to be seen or too much visible behind the fire. If I have a dispenser here, place some flint and steel, connect it with redstone. Oops. Then, even if I extinguish the fire, it will simply get relit, and the observer detects 2 state changes, so that means whatever trap I have, for example, if I have here an observer that shoots arrows, I will get hit 2 times. Tip number 8, use wooden trapdoors. You can either place them at the top of a block when they open downwards, or at the bottom when they open upwards. And depending where you place them, they have different properties. For example, when you place them at the bottom like this, you can, as you can see, hide some lava underneath them. And when you place them at the top, you can't hide lava. But since wooden trapdoors are combustible, as you can see, and they are objects that will never burn or get destroyed by burning. That means you can, using the trapdoors, create a spontaneously combustible trap. Now please note that if you want your trapdoor to be spontaneously combustible, it means they must be placed at the top, because fire needs one full block to exist. If I place it at the bottom, I can't light it even using flint and steel. You can see I'm smashing it. Wait. I'm smashing it like crazy, nothing happens, and this lights up easily. And the difference is this takes some place from the block. Tip number 9. Booby trap everything, including your traps. Here I have some lava that is blocked by the trapdoor so you can see what is happening. And of course this lava is being shot from a dispenser. So to get rid of it, I can either build on the lava block, and I can also destroy the dispenser. This will not stop the lava from flowing because the source block is here, but the dispenser, if it gets destroyed, it cannot be refired again. So first, let's destroy the lava. Instead, I'll activate the lever because it does what it would do. It just does it without destroying the lava. As you can see, it sent me to my doom. There could be some lava or whatever that would just kill me. Now, if I decide to destroy the dispenser, same thing happens. The piston retracts and sends me to my doom. If you're interested, it is a pretty simple machine. I have a dispenser here, 2 observers. One is observing the block in front of the dispenser and the other is observing the dispenser. So first I'll take care of what happens when the dispenser is destroyed, and then I'll take care of this block. So this is not exactly correct. The floor should go from this side. So here I'm going to the dispenser, I'll destroy it. The observer fires a pulse that goes here. Here I have the piston that is activated by this redstone torch. And of course I need some delay because redstone torches will not get deactivated by 1-tick pulses. So I need a repeater. Let's build it here. I'll place it here. Get out of the way. The repeater needs to be set to at least 2 ticks because redstone torch needs at least 2 ticks. It won't accept anything from a 1-tick pulse. So now, if I destroy the dispenser, as you can see, the piston retracts. So that is part 1, and part 2 is this observer. So here we cannot really place too much, but the observer will charge this block. So from here I'll just take another repeater to take the charge from this block. Now this does not need to be at 2 ticks. This can be at 1 tick because this is already taking care of the 2 ticks. And all that's left is just to connect them. So, oops. Boom. Boom. Now there is of course an option to lead the redstone dust from here through here to the right side, in which case it would require 2 ticks, but in this case it's just one tick slower. So now if I build something here, you can see the retraction goes successfully. I just for some reason got launched into the universe, but you can see that it works as it should. Now, if you're a good observer, you may have noticed one problem. I told you to use lava, However, what happens when you use redstone and lava? Of course, the problem with redstone dust is you have to place it at the top of a block, so it can be placed on top of this block, but it cannot be placed on top of this block because this is not on the top of a block. If I destroy the trapdoor, it can be placed without an issue. So that means if I have some redstone dust here and decide to pour some lava into it, it gets destroyed and my entire redstone contraption is screwed. So the question would be, how do I protect my redstone pulses without having to resort to some nasty things? And the answer is here: wooden lock or even a piece of wood, and we have these leaves. Leaves have a property that is called distance from nearest wooden block that goes from 0 to 6. 0 means connected and 6 means either at least 6 blocks away or disconnected. So that means if I place a log here, this is not 2 or 1, but it is 6 because these two are not connected. So since the distance from this block is 6, it will be 6. Also, the distance is not in the XYZ grid, but it is in the chain. So that means that, for example, since this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it would go if I build like this. This would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I build 2 blocks here, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. So now it's 3, now it's 5. And of course, when an observer, when a change in the distance happens, the observer can detect this change. So for example, if I power up this piston, the block is no longer adjacent, so this stays all updated, and you can see that this, and this, as well as this, and this fired because the state changed, but this, since it is too far, did not fire. If you want to see once again, you can see that this will not fire. Now that means that these can be used to transmit signals to long distances. However, you can only use 5 or 6 blocks per chain. So for example, if this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I wanted to prolong this chain, I would need to build a sticky piston and have another chain going up from here. Now you can pretty much argue that since we are manipulating lava, this will be flammable, isn't it? The answer is yes, this is flammable. However, just like redstone dust, a fire needs an entire block, as I said. So when you enclose these blocks in something, even if you surround it entirely by lava, they will never catch fire. In fact, this is standing here from as long as I have been recording, and none of the blocks have burned out. So if I destroy this redstone torch, you can see that they updated. If I place it again, you can see another update. It is pretty simple. Here is the leaf chain, here is the piston, and this is the log block. And if I retract it, it is blocked from this side by glass, from this side by glass, from behind it is blocked by the piston, and from the front it is blocked by lava. If I extend it, from this side is blocked by glass, from this side is blocked by glass, from this side is blocked by glass, from behind is blocked by piston, and from up is blocked by lava. it is going to be blocked no matter how many times I retract or push the piston forward, and hence it will never burn. In fact, as I said, I could just delete all the glass and surround it all by lava. It would still function completely as it should. So, if you want to send redstone pulses forward, you need to use leaves and the log. The only problem with this is, of course, if you want to have a stable pulse or stable signal, not just one tick pulse, you need to convert this into a T flip-flop, but Mumbo Jumbo has already made a very good tutorial on various T flip-flops, so I won't be showing how to make these. Okay, so that will be it from me, and if you have any ideas or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!